And yet too many have also had to rely on fragmented funding, short-term project cycles, and external grants that often determine the research priorities from outside our borders. That model is insufficient for a country seeking to industrialize, modernize agriculture, improve healthcare, digitize public services, and compete in a rapidly evolving global economy. Today, through the Ghana National Research Fund, we begin to address this structural gap. Ladies and gentlemen, the establishment of this fund is directly aligned with our broader national transformation agenda. It supports our commitment to the 24-hour economy initiative and to the accelerated exports development program. It supports our ambition to modernize agriculture, strengthen agro-processing, expand manufacturing, improve healthcare delivery, advance digital transformation, promote renewable energy, and build globally competitive industries. Every major pillar of our economic strategy demands innovation. Every innovation requires research. Every research ecosystem requires predictable financing. The Ghana National Research Fund is therefore not peripheral to our development agenda, it is central to it. Macroeconomic stability remains important, and the government has taken difficult but necessary measures to restore confidence in our economy. However, long-term transformation cannot rely on macroeconomic stability alone. Sustainable economic progress requires growth in productivity. Productivity growth depends on knowledge systems, advanced skills, technological innovation, and institutional capabilities. Nations that consistently invest in research and development are better placed to modernize their agriculture, strengthen their health systems, improve governance, create jobs, and build resilient economies. This is the broader significance of the Ghana National Research Fund. The fund's mission-based framework reflects a clear understanding that research investments must be directed towards the areas that are most critical to Ghana's development. Ghanaian farmers and agriculturists are looking for research that will save them from the scourge of the armyworm in maize production. Ghanaian farmers, cocoa farmers, are looking to research that will develop species of cocoa that are resistant to the swollen shoot disease. Ghanaian farmers are looking to scale up commercial cotton farming that will be resistant to the boll weevil. Ghanaian farmers and Ghanaian consumers are looking for gobe that is not infested with weevils. So we want our beans that are resistant to the boring of the weevil so that we can eat our gobe free of insects. And I just want to mention that, yes, our researchers have done well. There are a lot of innovations that they have done, research that they have done, but one of the major problems has been translating from research to scaling it up into commercial production. While I was watching the beautiful documentary they showed us, I was discussing with Professor Abigail about the non-toxic pesticides. Every year we import hundreds of millions of dollars worth of pesticides. Many of those pesticides are no longer used even in the countries where they manufacture them. And so if our researchers have researched and discovered a non-toxic organic pesticide, how do we scale that up so that our farmers have access to it? This is the gap the Ghana National Research Fund is coming to fill. And so its priority areas include food system transformation and agricultural resilience, health innovation and biosecurity, digital and industrial transformation, climate and environmental sustainability, and governance, data, and social systems. These priorities address the challenges and opportunities facing our nation. The objective is not simply to produce more research. The objective is to produce research that solves problems, that informs policy, that creates jobs, that strengthens industries and improves the lives of Ghanaians. That is what the Ghana Research Fund is about. Ladies and gentlemen, 1% in 2026. At the same time, technological change is accelerating at an unprecedented rate. Artificial intelligence, advanced analytics, biotechnology, automation, and digital technologies are reshaping economies, industry, and labor markets. The World Economic Forum identifies analytical and critical thinking, technological literacy, creativity, resilience, systems thinking, and lifelong learning as among the defining capabilities for the future economy. These are precisely the capabilities that research systems can help develop. The Global Innovation Index also provides an important reflection on our current position. While Ghana continues to perform relatively well in innovation outputs compared with innovation inputs, our ranking highlights the need for greater investment in research infrastructure, scientific training, laboratory systems, doctoral education, industry partnerships, and innovative financing. Our researchers are producing value despite the constraints they face. Imagine what they could achieve if those constraints were systematically removed. Across Africa, there is a growing recognition that true economic sovereignty cannot be achieved without scientific sovereignty. Countries that rely entirely on imported technologies, data, expertise, and solutions will always remain vulnerable. The future belongs to nations capable of generating their own solutions to their challenges. Ghana must be one of those nations. And that is why the African Union's target of investing at least 1% of GDP in research and development must be viewed not merely as a spending target, but as a strategy for competitiveness, productivity, and ultimately sovereignty. Unfortunately, Act 1056 is contrary to the AU target. We capped at 1056 at not more than 0.5% of GDP. So already we are misaligned with the AU target. And so we need to look at that. Now if you take the expanding GDP of Ghana, our GDP from 2024 was 88 billion. Now it's 114 billion. So take out your calculators and work the maths. 1% of 114 billion will give you a certain figure. And when you get that figure even, just divide it by 2 to get 0.5. It means that we should be investing about 6 billion cedis every year in research. That is the target. And nobody says that Ghana should provide all that money. With our international partners, we should be able to raise sufficient money to invest in research. But we must start somewhere, so I'll announce something modest. Accordingly, I'm pleased to announce an immediate catalytic allocation of 100 million cedis to support the operational launch of the Ghana National Research Fund for 2026. And so I'm requesting the Ministry of Education in collaboration with the GET Fund and the Fund's Governing Board to ensure the transparent, accountable, and resource-oriented deployment of these resources. The initial investment of the 100 million cedis will support competitive national research grants, doctoral and postdoctoral research programs, digital grants management systems, strategic innovation initiatives, and priority research programs that are aligned with national development objectives. This allocation reflects government's commitment to building a sustainable and credible national research finance ecosystem. In addition, government will ensure the fully and timely implementation of the provisions of Act 1056, on the mobilization and release of resources for research funding. I therefore request the Ministries of Finance, Education, Environment, Science and Technology to progressively operationalize the statutory financing framework established under the Ghana Research Fund Act, so that the fund will develop with scale, continuity, and predictability necessary for long-term national impact. As we strengthen this ecosystem, we must build on what has already worked. The African Centers of Excellence program has demonstrated the transformative power of structured, competitive, and performance-based investment in research. Institutions such as the West Africa Center for Crop Improvement, WACRI, the West Africa Center for Cell Biology of Infectious Pathogens, and the West African Genetic Medicine Center have demonstrated what is possible when excellence is supported by sustained investment. So we already have the institutions that have started to show what research can do. These institutions I mentioned have strengthened scientific capacity. They've developed highly skilled researchers. They produce globally recognized discoveries and enhance Ghana's reputation as a center of research excellence. We must build on these successes. And so my challenge to our universities, research centers, and scientific institutions, I offer you a challenge. Happily, like the minister said, this launch of this fund is not accompanied by an UTAG strike. I think UTAG will rather be very happy to have this supplementary research fund in addition to their research and book allowances. That was the main area of contention during Professor Atta Mills' time. And so Professor Mills will sleep easy in seeing us here today. So my challenge to you, the establishment of this fund must not merely increase grant applications, it must increase ambition. Let us pursue breakthrough solutions in food security. Let us develop climate-smart technologies for African agriculture. Let us lead research into tropical diseases. Let us harness artificial intelligence to improve governance and public service delivery. Let us create innovations that can be commercialized, exported, and scaled up globally. Our objective is not simply to publish more papers. Our objective